And until you have won, you could talk about potential all you want. I mean, the Eagles did go to the playoffs. Some of those teams didn't go to the playoffs last year. So I definitely would and then you look at winning. I mean, Jalen Hurts has got work to do, but Jalen Hurts has won. Everywhere Jalen has been, he's won. So I think that says something. And some of these guys where, they're stat guys, and then there's winning. And I'd have to say that I would put the Eagles up there,
You think this team, I'm asking you a question. I haven't answered it yet. Carlos, you think you can beat the Buccaneers? So in 3 months, you've improved that much from the Buccaneers. You can beat the Rams. You can beat the Packers. We're going to find that out this year. Cardinals and 49ers. Philip says a lot of speculation. Show me your crystal ball. Well, I really don't have to show you a crystal ball. The Niners beat the pants off you last year. I don't have to do any of that. I'm going to ask Garry Cobb this. I'm going to see what Garry Cobb has to say. FOX29's own Garry Cobb joins us here. Garry, hopefully you had a great. I'm getting accused, Father's Day, by the way. I'm getting accused of being a clickbait guy here, and I want to ask you just a very simple question here. I've written down a list of true contenders for Super Bowl this year. Bills, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Bengals, Ravens, Rams, Bucks, Packers, Cardinals, 49ers. Do you think the Eagles are better than any one of those teams?
Wait, say that again.
Do you think the Eagles are better than any one of these teams? Bills, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Bengals, Ravens, Rams, Bucks, Cardinals, Packers, 49ers.
Yes, because a number of those teams have never won anything. They've never won. And until you have won, you could talk about potential all you want. I mean, the Eagles did go to the playoffs. Some of those teams didn't go to the playoffs last year. So I definitely would and then you look at winning. I mean, Jalen Hurts has got work to do, but Jalen Hurts has won. Everywhere Jalen has been, he's won. So I think that says something. And some of these guys where, they're stat guys, and then there's winning. And I'd have to say that I would put the Eagles up there, with some of those teams, I don't think winning when I've seen them. And really, even looking at a team like Baltimore, they've been disappointing and they haven't won in a good while. And they haven't won big with Lamar. He's as great as he's been. They haven't won big with them. So I definitely would put the Eagles up there, especially with what they have added and with the people they have. I don't see any reason why they're not right there with some of those teams because, like I said, they don't have a legacy of doing anything. There were many of those teams. All they've had is potential and, and people talking about them. Talking about you and everything is nothing, but have you won? A lot of those teams, they haven't done anything. They haven't gotten deep in the playoffs. Some of them haven't gotten in the playoffs, not consistently. So I would put the Eagles right up there with them because I think that they have it's a winning environment. I like the environment they have, but of course, you got to have people that make big plays. And, of course, we know how important that quarterback position is.
Let me ask you this here. The addition of the safety that they got from the Niners and Tarf, I said this when I was told on Friday that last year he played in 86% of the defensive snaps for a very good 49er unit. You got to remember that 49er unit in the playoffs went into Dallas and then went into Green Bay and got W's.
That's
that kid is like almost like 9 out of the 10 plays he's on the field for. And since he's been in San Francisco, Garry, he's played in 81% of the games. Plus you look at 370 plus tackles since he's been there. He's a productive guy. He's not expensive. It's a one-year deal again. I think this is a really fine move. These are the kind of moves that really set your football team up for success.
Without a doubt. You know, you put him in a position where this kid has got a lot to play for. So he's in there, and he has played. And what I was talking about is he's played in big games and won. You know, you can't say that about a lot of people in the league. I mean, look at the teams they beat, man. They beat them in the play. You can go into Green Bay, and you know you can't make a lot of mistakes with that guy over there, with that quarterback over there for Green Bay. You can't make a lot of mistakes. You know, Rodgers, he's a veteran quarterback. He's going to see what mistakes you make. So you play in a big-time game where winner wins, goes on, loser goes home. You know, they don't really get much bigger than that. So I like the fact that he picked them up. Plus, I thought the safety position was one of the positions that's going to be a key for them because they need people to step up. So with the fact that they bring him in, then they're not going to be leaning as much on guys that haven't done anything. So I think some of those young kids are going to get opportunities, but you bring in a guy that's played in big games. You know, he's made plays in big games, and I could see that he's a good tackler. He's a good open field tackler, and seems like he's a smart kid because, you know, he's not giving up big plays and making mistakes. And, you know, when you get into the top echelon of the NFL, you need guys that don't make mistakes. You don't need to have your safeties giving up big plays. You can't have that. So I think in those places, this is another very good pickup. Go and pick a guy up like this. When you look at, you know, the fact you're going to have to go with some young guys. And, you know, I mean, I love young people, you know, but most of the time I don't want them driving the car. You grab a seat over there. You know, the grown-ups drive the car. So that's the way, you know, most teams that win. And so I think that was another good pickup. I mean, I got to give it to Howie. The next time I see him, hey, Howie, man, I'm going to have to get off you for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Done a good
he's
job.
Done a hell, you know, Gary, he's done a hell of a job in tooling this roster. But let me say this to you, though. You know, how much of a challenge is it? Like you just said, young guys and new faces. That doesn't always translate. They tried doing that under Chip Kelly a couple of years back with the Dream Team, and they brought all these new faces in. You and I talked about limited practice time that they're going through with these OTAs and probably what they're going to do in training camp. This is going to be quite a challenge here for Jonathan Gannon to put these pieces together for this defense. I mean, the coaching is also going to be in the spotlight here. Just wondering, how challenging is that, you think?
I think it's very challenging because you need professionals, you know, and you know if you're a pro, it ain't up to the coach that you're ready. You make sure you're ready. Look, we need to go over that again. Coach. Okay, I want to make sure, hey, when this guy comes inside, this is what you want me to do. Okay, and you know, you talk it through. You don't want gray areas. No, I'm sure of what I'm doing. You know, that's the way a pro is. I mean, just like you got a good attorney. He didn't get into the courtroom. Oh, I forgot. No, we don't need people that forget. You know what you're doing. And so to bring in a veteran player, you know, that is, you know, I just love that. When I went over there, looked at some tape of him, I've seen him making these open field tackles. And then I already know that he's playing for the Niners in those big games. Hey, they make one or two mistakes against the Packers, and they're done. So they played where they know we make a mistake. This guy's he's gonna find that guy, man, get the ball to him. So we can't make mistakes. We've got to be communicating. And, you know, during a game, you know, things happen during the game. But you make sure it's done. And there's just a degree of professionalism. I mean, and you see it in every area, you know, where people outside of sports, when you're around professionals, they don't let stuff slip through the cracks. They make sure it's done properly, you know. And so if you got a safety, you know, I mean, think of the word safety. You don't have people going up top, easy scores and stuff like that. Because when you got guys like that, man, you come in the huddle, man, you don't even feel good. You look over there and see this kid, you know he doesn't know what he's doing. He's looking scared. You don't have that now. We got professionals. So they brought in another guy who I just think that's a great move. And I just like the fact that, you know, the Eagles right now, they got to feel good about the whole thing. But, of course, you got to go out there and do it. But I like the fact that when they go into camp, you got a veteran safety back there. He's going to know what he's doing.
You think it's Epps and Tarf back there? That will be the duo back there in the safety?
I don't know what they're going to. I'm not sure about that. You know, I know they talk Epps. I think they liked what they saw of Epps. I liked what I saw of Epps last year. But, you know, they could just go veteran. I mean, they could go to veteran guys. But because, you know, with camp now, the way they're running camp, I don't think you really get a chance to see people battle for a job.
Yeah, I don't know how you win a job.
How could you win a job? You're not even really doing much where you got competition where you're really going after the offense going after the defense. You know, with the way they're acting, you know, and I'm just sorry. I just do not buy all of the stuff where you got guys in shorts and you're talking about a big deal about somebody getting worn down. That's garbage, man. Come on. If the guy's not working in shorts over at the camp, when he's off, these days they're off, they got to be somewhere else working out. They got to be.
How are you not practicing game time? To me, Garry, it's also about the physicality of getting ready for a season, but it's also, there's one thing, there's a difference. I tell people this all the time when it comes to game tempo. There's a difference when you see someone jogging or sprinting.
Yeah.
The game is a sprint.
The game
is jogging sometimes happens when you're in practice. Yeah. And that's the tempo of the practice is you jogging from drill to drill, getting up when you're doing 9-on-7 or 7-on-7 or inside drill. It's a jog. But when you're in a game, it's a sprint. Yeah. And if you're not sprinting all the time, how are you going to – I think this now played into – they may have been healthy last year, Garry, but I also happen to think this may have been part of the reason they started out 2-5.
Without a doubt, because there's – you know, in the games – I mean, we know there's a sense of urgency, man. When you got a game, you know, and after a game, you remember every play. You had any bad plays in that game, you don't sleep, man. You're feeling bad. You know you didn't make this, but in practice, you don't feel that way about practice. You don't look back at practice, oh, I'm going through every. But in a game, you remember every play, you know, and it's an urgency, and you know that's the type of thing where I'm going like. I don't get it. I mean, you guys need reps, and especially with this team where you got guys getting used to each other, they need reps. The thing about it, Tom Brady, how much practice do you think he's getting in? Man, he's got those guys out there in the morning. They're probably doing double days, man. I bet you those guys are doing double days of running routes because he's going to make sure you got it right, and he's going to make sure he's got it right. And that's the kind of I mean, that's championship football. That's the way where you don't leave it up to maybe. Maybe's not good enough. You got to run this route correctly, and then also defensively. And I was just listening to their linebackers. They were talking about the Tampa Bay linebackers were talking about, you know, their workouts and things. Sense of urgency, man. You know, they're going to jump your butt if you don't get over there. Your teammates are they're on you, man. That's championship football. That, you know, hey, you're in a team that wins. They don't let stuff slide, man. And so you make sure you get it right. So you need reps. Come on, man. The Eagles need to be out there using every rep they can, especially as young as their team is, and with the fact on offense, timing, man.
Even Garry, don't you think also that the coaches need more game film in practice on looking at what the best personnel settings are?
Yeah.
Because when you're in camp, do you do a 46? Do you run a 5-man front?
That's
do
right.
you do a coverage of Tampa 2? Yeah. How are you going to play a wide 7? I mean, the reason also is you get 7-on-7 film. You get third down films. You get and then you get all the personnel settings for the coach. And the coaches come together and say, hey, I think we're going to be better in a 34 or 43 or what have you.
That's right.
How do you get that assessment of what your personnel strengths are if you don't have enough of it on tape.
I think you need that, man. You need that stuff on tape. And, like I said, guys aren't hitting. They're running around. They got to be running around to be in shape anyway. And then to be able to do it, because football is a mental game. And to be able to, guys, make sure they know what they're doing. Then what you talked about from a coaching standpoint, what are we best in? What is our talent best in? What do they play? Which one of these defenses do they play best? And so that, hey, we're going to go this. When we really want to lock people down, we're going to this, And the strength of each one. And guys get a lot of times you got to play a thing. You get a feel for the defense by playing it. How deep can I get? If I'm a linebacker, how deep can I get on this particular defense? But still be able to come up and keep a guy 2-3 yard gain. Things like that, man. And you need those reps, man. You do that. Like, even if you're not at the camp, you're somewhere with the guys working out, man. So what are you talking about? We don't do this. I don't know who they got telling him that, but that's nonsense, man. Like I said, go down there to the top teams in the league and see how much work they're getting in. Like I said, Tom's down there. He's basically coaching the offense. Those guys, they talk about how he's got them guys on the phone. Hey, see you guys over there 7, 8 in the morning. We're going to get up, and then we're going to do some more later on during the day. We're making sure when we run these routes, when we run these different plays, we could do them with our eyes closed,
Garry, finally here, let me say this to you too let me expand a little bit more on what you're saying. I would also do this to you. So like when you're out there as a unit and you're putting all of these defensive schemes together, my question again would be on the defensive side of the football here.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to understand that you're going to be counted on for these first 5 games, Lions, Vikings, Washington, Jags, Cardinals, and Cowboys, to get a ton of 3-and-outs.
Yeah.
You've got to get 3-and-outs, because if you're going to transform this offense from being 40-60 and running to pass to 60-40, you're going to have a ton of 3-and-outs. You didn't bring that $100 million guy in to block in the run game.
That's right.
I could get anybody to do that. You want to throw the ball in the first half of the season to get that offense going. So that defense has got to be racking and ready to roll. Do you think they have the talent to be able to be a top 10 defense?
Well, I think they have the talent. But see, we know that the defense is not just about the individual players. It's the guys having a feel with each other. Because you got the safeties working together with the corners, and so much of that is a feel to where I know, hey, this is where I need to be on that defense. I've got to be able to take this away because maybe that's a weakness of the defense. But you only find that out by going out and getting reps, and you want your offense going after you. So you're able to see, hey, what is the strength of this? What are some of the different things? And see, as the player in there, you have to get a certain depth, certain things you're going to have to be able to take away on a certain coverage. But the only way you get to know all of that is you have to play it. And a lot of the best defenses in the league, and I'm going to go back to Tampa Bay again, which is they play a kind of a lot of their zones. It's not just pure man-to-man. It's not pure zone. There's blended. There's areas, great areas. So what they do is they play a lot of man in the zone. You can't just play simple zone because these guys are too good. You just drop somewhere. No. When these two guys are lined up over here, I got this guy till I pass him over here to you. And you got to be communicating with each other. And that's the biggest thing is the defensive players in the secondary have got to be communicating with each other. And the only way you get in sync with that is you have to play together, and you need to get all those reps. That's why they need to be in there getting those reps, man. They don't need to be saying, oh, we're going to take it off. We want to keep my legs fresh. Look, these guys are going to be somewhere running anyway. Get those reps together because you're playing a lot of man in the zone. That's what you're really playing. It's not pure zone because you play pure zone. That's what they were playing last year and getting eaten up. You just drop back. No, you see these two receivers over here. You can't just drop off of them. You got to be able to stay there where you be able to make a play on the ball. If he picks it up, throw the ball. But that's it's kind of like in basketball. You play kind of a man where you're passing guys as they come through. Joe, hey, Joe, you got him. You know, you're talking the whole time, man, and that's when you're really good. If you're not communicating, a good offense will slice you up. And, you know, that's the difference in pro ball, you know, especially now with the way they protect everybody. If you're not good at making sure you're communicating, you get sliced up in the NFL now, man.
Garry, I'm going to leave you with this. I've always wanted to ask you this question because every time I ask a question like this to a guy who was drafted late but had a 10-year-plus career, you played 12 years, every guy I've ever asked, did it always bug you that you were drafted later? But see, you played on such a great Southern Cal team. You had 100 million dudes on that team that were all first and second rounders. Was that something that aggravated you, that you went that late and yet you still played 12 plus years?
Well, hey, I had a chip on my shoulder. You better believe it.
Okay.
I had a chip on my shoulder about
because
that.
I'm taking this with Nakobe Dean. I would think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder for being drafted in the third round. You do have a chip on your shoulder then.
Oh, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. And it's good. It's good to go in there with a chip on your shoulder because it drives you to be that much better, you know. And what he's got to do is, and I see it, is that they're going to expect him to play early right now. And I do like the fact the kid he's got an NFL mind. He thinks like an NFL player already. The whole things that I was just talking about formations and different things like that. You see he's got a feel for that, where he's going to be talking to guys like the time when they come out in a certain formation, you know that about 3 routes they're getting ready to run. And see, if you do your homework, the guys know, hey, they got 3 routes they run out of this formation. And so you're ready to jump that ball, man. You're ready to jump it. And I see that in him. And he's going to be good for these guys. Plus, can't say enough about winning and the pursuit of excellence. It's going to be good to have this kid in there because I think he's going to be barking at some guys. And I'm going to love to see the young kid bark at some guys, say, hey, we're here to win, dude. We're here to win. I'm not here to be your friend. We want to win, man.
I absolutely love it. Garry, thank you so much for finding the time. I hope you had a great Father's Day, my friend.
Oh,
thank you so much, as you always do.
All right, buddy.
You got it, the legendary Garry Cobb. You got to think that Nakobe Dean's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Okay? You got to think that. Who said they had a Dorito on their shoulder? Come on, Dank. Oh, yeah, wait. I got a cannoli on my shoulder. Yeah, okay. Not that I think it's bad going to food here on that. Hit the like button. I do think Nakobe Dean, though, he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder, man, because he was taken in the third round. Here was a guy that was projected to be taken between 20 and 25. All right. Don't forget my friends at Morgan & Morgan, folks, where the fee is free. Look, if you're hurt or injured on the job, there is only one law firm for you. It's Morgan & Morgan. For the people is not a slogan. This is who they are. And finding that attorney is one of the most important things that you can possibly do. Last 30 years, they've collected over $13.5 billion with a B for their clients in settlements. That's what Morgan & Morgan does with their over 800 attorneys and offices in Philly, New York, Florida, and across the country. They are ready to do battle for you. And folks, there is no such thing as a fender bender. Size matters when you go to Morgan & Morgan. They're the biggest firm in the country, and they will do the job for you. Call them at 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. Do me a favor when you do that. Understand this. They're open 24/7, 7 days a week. Call them 800-512-1600. And do me a favor. Tell them that Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.